Let's take a look here at MicroStrategy now. I'm going to do MicroStrategy coin, and then I'll close out with Bitcoin. Okay. The weekly. This is absolutely atrocious. But volume was falling off until last week where it accelerated to the downside. That could be a fake out. Okay. That could be a bear trap. So keep your eyes on that. MicroStrategy is going to hit this 50-week moving average. It wants 220. It just wants it. It might not stay there for very long, but it wants it. Now, MicroStrategy next week, we want to see a green candle. That green candle needs to go up and above $303.08. It has to do it. If it cannot do it, we're going to hang out beneath $300 and we're going to stay there for a while, possibly until 2028. Okay, so keep that in the back of your brain there. So that's it, and it could be just like this one right here. You see this one right here? From January 13th, it came up that big engulfing green, and it didn't break this red line. Didn't break that red line. And you know what happened? Sold off immediately from there. So if we get a big green candle, even if it slices through 303.08, if it doesn't hit this red line and just crack on and go further up, all the way up to 440, if it doesn't do that, it's coming all the way back down. It's coming all the way back down. That's a bull trap if it doesn't do that. So we want an engulfing green candle. Otherwise, MicroStrategy is going to flounder around for a while. We want it to crack 303.8. We want to see that do that. If it can't do that, well, then it's gonna sell off. That rip is gonna get sold. If it comes up to this red line that I've got drawn here from the tops of the candles starting on December 2nd, 2024 on the weekly, if it comes up to that red line and does not close above it, and we see any kind of redness after touching that line, that's a bull trap, and that's what we're going to be calling it there. Okay, that's it. MicroStrategy. Should I look at the monthly, even though it hasn't really been around long enough to get much? Oh no. The monthly gave us a red dot and a lower high. That's not good. That's really not good. We got a nice big wick on top, falling down. Yeah. This thing wants 220. Any rips that don't get significant continuation will be sold off on this thing. So pay attention. Pay attention to MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy might be played out until the next cycle, honestly, unless Bitcoin really flips around, because we're still above the Watson envelope on the monthly. That's all the way down to 228. It's gonna come probably all the way down to 220 at some point, maybe even lower, as low as like 175 in the next few weeks. The BX trender is the momentum. The momentum is coming down and it turned red. Now it could turn green right away, right after. It could, but next month, like March needs an engulfing green. It's got to go back above 330. It's got to do it. Otherwise, that's that. Walk away. Let's take a look at coin real quick. Coin. How are we doing, coin? We're beneath the 50-week moving average, the 21-week moving average, the 200-week moving average is all the way down at $160, which would be right in line with some of the support over here. The BX trender is getting worse and worse on the way down. The stochastics are pointing straight down. The RSI is pointing straight down. None of that's good. Okay. Volume is actually only about average, so it's selling off at about average. This thing's in a channel, and I'll draw that channel for you real quick. This thing is in a channel, and that channel is about right here to about right there. Okay, we're at the bottom of that channel, so we could pop up to like 280 or so. There's a little more hope in coin than MicroStrategy because it's not solely tied to Bitcoin. It's got altcoins going on. It's got other stuff going on, and they just had that big case from the SEC dropped from them. In fact, the SEC has been dropping all of its crypto lawsuits. So that's actually a good sign. There's a lot of good tailwinds in much of the crypto sector, but it's selling off anyways, which makes me suspicious, but that could go on longer than I can tolerate it. So I might have to like sell out, wait for things to bottom out, or come up and show strength at a higher level and then get back in, because I don't know how long this could go on. It could go on for a while. These big institutions are patient. They've got time. They've got money. They can outbid me. They can beat me financially. So I'm not trying to compete with them. I don't have a chance. That's what I'm trying to say there. Let's see here. What happened to why is my watch list all kinds of unorganized? Who did this? My watch list is not in the order it should be. I'm quite frustrated by that. This is all kinds all over the place. Okay. I'm actually really mad about that right now, but I'll worry about that later. because I had these all in a specific order, and now that's all out of whack. Okay, anyways, coin. Weekly, yeah, it's not looking terrible. It's not looking good either. Let's take a look here. Is there anything clear in the chart we can see? Anything that's just like glaring at us in these charts? Okay, we had the 21-month moving average and we bounced off of it. That's actually not a bad sign. It's not a terrible, terrible sign. Coin, really, I'd need to see it get up back into like the 250 and up and higher range, honestly, to really have any good feelings about it. Right now, stochastics are, look, our side's still above 50. This candle, while big and engulfing and ugly, it hit the 21-month and bounced, so that's actually kind of a good sign. We're not just crushing lines back, all over the place and not looking back. We hit the bottom Watson envelope right here, that little dash line, and bounced back up into it. So we would need to get above 236 and 257.83. Those are going to be significant areas of resistance. And if we can get above those, then we have a chance of getting to the top of this channel here, which coincidentally is also the resistance line here, coming from all the way back here from September. That resistance line, which would be at next week, we would be at 275.17, which is also about the top of this channel here. So if we could crack 275.17, there's a chance we could get out of this descending channel and retest 313 and 350. And if we can get above 350, well, we'll be running to new highs. Okay. Now, I wouldn't expect that. Of course, I'm not going to expect it, but there's a little more hope on this chart than on like MicroStrategy, to be honest. So I don't hate it. Let's go to Bitcoin. Okay, we're going to close out with Bitcoin. There's one thing I want to say about crypto right now. If you were watching Solana the last few days, Solana was the only green one while everything else was absolutely dumping. Now, Solana did drop a lot, but yesterday it was up like 13-14%, while others were still like looking kind of red or like barely moving. Okay, so like that's pretty cool. Solana's pretty cool. Okay. All right, Bitcoin. This is atrocious. Okay, this is bad. This weekly candle, now this volume actually wasn't too big. It came in at about average, okay? But we had a huge, huge sell-off. We came as low as $78,000 there, okay? About $78,000. If we come back down to 75 or lower, that's kind of done. That's donezo. That's where we're like saying, all right, well, that's it. Thanks for playing. Goodbye. So right now we're below the Watson envelope. We got to get back above $88,000 to get just back into like an average space for this thing, okay? 89,325 is the 21-week moving average. We have to get above that. Okay, we got to get above that. We do not want to come back to the 50-week moving average. Okay, that would kind of invalidate the whole cycle right now. That would suck. BX trender is looking bad. Okay, the momentum is getting worse to the downside. The stochastic is pointing basically straight down. The RSI came back down to 49. Now we have done a 50. Now this could be your standard 50 RSI retracement and followed by a blast off. That could be. I mean, we do have an RSI divergence here where we went higher and then we went higher in price, lower in RSI. You can see that right here on the weekly, where we did a 78 on the RSI, whereas in the past we did like a 90 back here when we hit $75,000. And as a result, you can say this had to play out to the downside like this. Absolutely, could absolutely argue that, and that's fine. But Bitcoin. So let's go to the monthly. This is where we are really going to see some grossness. Okay. We had in February a negative 17.66% candle in the bull run. We have never done that before. That is new territory. We have never, ever done that. In fact, the only times we've ever done candles like that is after the peak. Okay, after the peak. That's the only time we've ever done that. So what are we watching for right now? Okay, because guess what? I think we're getting this. I think we may very well be getting this double top scenario that we had back in 2021 happening to us all over again. Well, we got a nice top. We had a huge down candle. We go flat for 2 months. We come right back up ever so slightly above the previous high and then dump off for the rest of the cycle. Are we going to do that again this time? Very possibly. So what can happen here? We could see this monthly candle, right? Go flat this month, April, flat, May, half of May, maybe flat, and then start into the summer, rev up to maybe $112,000, maybe $115,000. And if we struggle there for even a second, that's probably going to be the top. And then guess what? We're going to come all the way back down to about $50,000 after that. So if we see any kind of rollover. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for basically, once we make a new high, like let's say this happens in like June or something, we make an ever so slightly new high, just like back here when we were at 65,000 and we made that new high in June, in October at 67,000, and we had a wick on top, followed by like it went a little bit higher and then started falling. Like that was your signal. That was your signal. Let's go to the weekly. We don't want a monthly on this. Let's see something lower time frame that we can kind of sink our teeth into on this one. And let me turn off all this. So we're going to do some candle analysis on this bad boy. We are not looking at anything else. Okay, here we go. So this was the last time. Yeah, here we go. This is going to be your signal. So we are very likely doing this double top again right now. Okay, that is my base case right now. Unless we get significant, just absolute blasting off, we don't look back. Okay, I want to see candles like this, starting here from September 27th through October 11th. Those three candles. I want to see candles like that at the very top, just blasting through $110,000. Otherwise, if I start seeing candles like this, I see a doji like this at $110,000. It's like, let's say it comes up to 100 and like say that 67,000 there is like 115 right now or 117 right now, and we get a doji candle that comes back, and then we get like another weak little gross doji candle like that. That is it. That is your signal. That is run for the hills. That is dump everything. It doesn't matter if you haven't reached your targets yet. It doesn't matter even if you are possibly even red at that point. That is your blaring red flag. That is your alarm bells. That is dump it and run kind of candles right there. Even though it will go up a little bit further, as soon as that comes up, I mean, are you going to sell on this candle that's down 10% realistically? Are you going to sell on this candle that's down 10%? Are you going to sell on this candle that's down another 2%? Are you going to hit this candle here where it's down another 13% off the top, which is, let's go ahead and look, which would be from the peak where it closed, would be 30% off the high. Are you going to let it go 30% off the high and then go, okay, I was wrong, I'm going to sell now? Or at that point, are you going to dig your heels and say, we're going to get a reversal, we're going to come back up, and then it will never come, and you'll go all the way to the bottom of the range? Are you going to do that this time? No, we're not going to do that this time. Okay, we're not doing that this time. If we cannot crack the highest highs right now and do it with force, something like this, right? Big strong candles coming out at the top and just blasting through them, kind of like when Nvidia reported earnings back when it was doing as well. You know, all of its earnings before the end of 2024. Unless we're seeing candles like that at the top, and I'm talking at the top, we get significant inflows. Just boom, let's go. If we get dojis up there, we get back up to there, and I do think we'll get back up there. But we get dojis up there, that's your alarm bell. That's your red flag. You see a candle like this, that's it. Run. It's time to run. And of course, nothing I say is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. Just my opinions. And, you know, do with them what you will. So I want to see an engulfing candle out of this, right? I want to go back up to $97,000 in like a week or two, max. I want to see this level of $109,000 get sliced through. I want that to be the middle of the body on a big green boy, okay? Big green boy. I want this to be just barely in the middle of that body on a big green boy. I want that thing to like start here, right? And then I want like the top of this to be like below that midline on that candle, and I want to see that candle go all the way up to like $120,000 and not look back. Okay, just like these three right here. This is exactly what I want to see right here. Okay, see these candles right here. Notice this high right here, $75,000. See that candle? See that candle, how it just went way above it and just took off? That is what we want to see. If we do not get that candle at $109,000, if we do not get this candle right here, the weekly candle on November 4th, that candle, mark it, burn it into your brain. If you do not see that candle at $109,000, making $109,000 look like, you know, putting it into the past, if you do not get it, that very likely is the high for the cycle. And it's probably going to come back down. So pay attention for that. I know I talked about that for way too long, but I think it's just so important to understand, like, if we show weakness here, if we show weakness at $109,000 when we get back to it, that's bad. And I am dumping everything when that happens. Everything. because I'm not back holding this thing all the way back down to $50,000. I'm not doing it. Not going to do it. I will go find money somewhere else. I don't need Bitcoin. There's thousands of other opportunities in the market. I don't need to be messing around with this if it's not going to go higher. Okay, that's all. That's all I got to say. Anyways, that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description, as well as the channel bio, and have a profitable day.